Now, I'd like to talk about Elizabeth Bligh.
Yeah.
I feel like I can swear because I know you did on YouTube. You've always struck me as a pretty no bullshit kind of person.
Yep.
Is that why Elizabeth Bligh appealed to you?
Oh gosh. Well, I relate to her. You know, I understand. My mother was born in 1918, so she would have been a bit younger than Elizabeth, but she had a lot of secrets. Mm-hmm. She had a lot of layers. Mm-hmm. And I remember as a child when we went to church on a Sunday, I used to think, I was about 8, and I remember thinking, I wonder if these people who saw us on Sunday, what they'd think of us if they saw us on Saturdays. Because we were so different on a Sunday. It was all,
your family's pretty different too.
You know, hello, everything's wonderful, thank you. I liked the fact that this was a woman who had so many layers of armour and behaviour that she felt was appropriate, that nobody knew what was underneath her. And, you know, I mean, the reality was she was about 17 when she married a man who turned out to be gay. And which was against the law, for one thing, in those days, and until quite recently. And so I really thought it was interesting to play someone who, a lot of people said, oh, she's such a bitch. And I go, no, she isn't. She has reasons for being the way she is, you know, and so there's been a lovely evolution for this character, because now at the end of season 2 and going into season 3, she's at a transitional point in her life. You know, her family don't want her or need her anymore. And she's realised that she spent her whole life preserving this facade for what? So she's at a bit of a loose end, and I think it's an interesting point for her to see where she goes with this.
It must be very interesting for you to be looking down the lens of this was an era you grew up in.
Yeah. And
now you're the adult in this.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and it's reminded me of so much. Our props department is extraordinary, and you know, I'll ask for a newspaper and there'll be a 1953 Herald Sun or whatever, you know, straight away. And what I had forgotten or didn't think about at the time because I was too young, but there were very few photographs then. So the writing in the newspapers is so beautiful because it has to create the picture. And in a way, I think one of the reasons why there's so much anxiety and depression now is that the ubiquity of bad news and graphic, horrible images of violence and destruction, and, you know, it's just everywhere. Whereas then there was more respect shown to people. You know, you had respect. You didn't have to earn it first. You had it first, and then you could prove that you didn't earn it or didn't deserve it. But there was a respectfulness, there was a gentleness, and there was a simplicity. It's not looking back through rose-coloured glasses. That's actually how it was. And yes, there was a lot of acting and a lot of coping and a lot of, you know, bullshit that went on. But also people were gentler and kinder in general. And I think there's a lot now. There's a lot of that missing, you know, certainly from the top down. We've been seeing examples of, if you don't agree with me, you're 100% wrong and I'm 100% right. How can that be? You know, that's playground politics, but that's what happens. Yeah. And so we can't have a discussion anymore because it's, you know, you're either for us or against us. No, we're human beings first, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why the show works, because it is escapist in a sense. But what I love is that a lot of people who are grandparents now despair that their grandchildren don't want to talk to them because they're too busy on the machines and, you know, family dinners and so on. The kids go, "Hi, Grandma," you know, and so we now know that the generations are watching Place to Call Home together. And so that's eliciting a wonderful flow of information between the generations that kids wouldn't ask for because it's not visually in front of them. You know, they're role models of the Kardashians, God help us all. So, who are famous for being stupid. And I think it's really a wonderful byproduct of the whole thing that that all the functions we've had that Foxtel's been so generous in providing to promote the show. We've had, you know, little children, teenagers in the clothes with their grandmas and their mums and dads, and it's quite a unifying thing, which again is what the arts can do.